got him?
Yeah, well, nobody gives it; they earn it, and he earned it. I think out of all the people, just like what you said about Damien being a surprise pick as a captain, I think a lot of people are the same way when DeAndre's name was picked. But he earned that, rightfully so. And just like Damien, those two guys push each other. And DeAndre's the same guy. He showed up every day in practice. He's healthy. Um, he's a guy that empties the tank in practice too. So, I'm happy for him. And we're going to need his experience, and we're going to need his leadership too.
How much does the rotation game come into play? It would naturally, but I get it's going to be hot early in the season and then
Hmm.
on Saturday.
All the guys going to play. I have about 6 guys that I feel really, really comfortable with, and they're doing a really good job in practice right now. And we're going to have to roll them, keep them fresh, and then as we get closer to the fourth quarter and see who's hot, and those guys will play.
Damian Daniels said yesterday, going up against the O-line, that it was night and day different from last year to this year.
Mhm.
Just from your perspective, what have you seen from the offensive line?
Very aggressive. Ethan Piper, Cam Jurgens, those guys are very aggressive at the point of attack. Our guys are not winning as easily as they used to. And, credit to those guys and Coach Austin for coming every day and helping us get better. We talk about iron sharpens iron. And, you got guys like Sichterman. He's done a great job. He's winning a lot of his one-on-ones and pass rush. And, even on the outside of the tackles, Brett Banks is doing a good job. Ben Hart's doing a really good job. And, I'm looking forward to see those guys play. Those guys play, and they stay on the field a very, very long time. That's good for me. I'd rather sit back and watch those guys play all day long, eat up the clock, score some points, get the ball back. That's hopefully the formula for us this weekend.
Illinois has a decent crew of returning O linemen. Can you get a lot from going back and watching their technique or watching even last year's game? Do you do that?
Yeah, we spend a lot of time watching them. They got a veteran group. 4 of those guys have started at some point throughout the season. They have really good running backs in Chase Brown, and we got to do a really good job containing those guys. They've done a good job against us in the run game, and that's going to be the challenge for us to make sure that we contain those running backs. They got 2 really good running backs. They got a veteran quarterback. So the challenge is there, and we're excited for it.
Is that one game, guys? They have to watch it back, but maybe you didn't want to watch back from last year. How do guys respond to watching that one back?
Um, I think as a man, if you want to grow and get better, you got to be able to face the music. If it's good, it's good. If it's bad, it's bad. We got to learn from it and move on. We're not going to try to live in it, but we're going to learn from it and move on. So we watch the tape. We watch, how we can get better. We watch them, the Illinois offensive line, and see how they are personally. And then, obviously we got to study, Appalachian State. That's where the offensive coordinator came from. So just trying to put all that together, just to be prepared so we have a chance to go out and be successful on Saturday.
You mentioned the value of the experience on the Illinois offensive line. What is the challenge associated with your guys going up against those dudes who have been around the block and seen a lot of your guys before?
Yeah, that's a good point too, because our guys are pretty familiar now. This is my 3rd season playing against Illinois, and the same guys are there. Kramer, the center there, very athletic. Reminds me a little bit of Cam Jurgens. That's really quick, can get on the edges, and they're going to really try to get to the edges on us and try to stretch us a lot. And we got to do a great job of, having great gap integrity and trying to make sure that those running backs don't get outside. And when they try to run inside, we got to do a great job of making sure that they don't get a lot of yards inside. So we got a great challenge up in front of us because they got a really experienced O-line and they're really good.
When you watch them on tape, what stands out about technique, scheme? What do they do well?
They really put a lot of stress on the defensive line up front. They do a good job in their stretch game. They're getting guys running sideways. That allows the running backs to do a really good job of sticking their foot in the ground and finding seams and getting vertical. So we got to do a really good job of not allowing our guys to run sideways. Try to keep those guys within the box and, try to keep the game contained. So that's the big plan and goal for us up front.
What's it like for you? You've put in all this work for a whole off season, and these last few days before the opener. What's it like as a coach?
I'm excited. I'm excited to see these guys go out and perform and play. We're going to finally have a normal season, and it's going to be awesome to be able to see fans in the stands. And I'm just excited to see our guys. They put in a lot of work from winter conditioning to spring ball to summer training, and I'm just excited to see them put it all together.
What kind of excitement, that you talk of, what kind of excitement do you get the sense your players, your older guys especially, have to get back out there
just to go out and compete against another team. I mean, typically after 19 practices, you're tired of beating up your own brother and, going back and forth. So you want to see somebody new, somebody fresh. And, I'm just excited to see our guys grow and see where they're at. And this is going to be a great measuring stick for us to see how much growth we have. Obviously, in one game, you're going to grow from game to game, but it's just going to be good to see where we're at right now up front with the guys that we have.
Is there anything about this camp with this defense, because there are so many older guys, that makes it so that you feel like maybe they're even more anxious or more ready for what they're going to see Saturday than in a usual August?
Yeah, I think just having our guys, our core nucleus of defenders back, I think that's something that's special. Having guys like Deontay back and having Markel back and having JoJo and Ben Stilley back, along with the other guys that we've had. In my room, I had a lot of young guys that played for me last year, and now those guys had 1 year under their belt, and they're more like seasoned veterans to me. And, feel really good about where they're at and how they've grown so far. Casey Rogers, Ty Robinson, really his first game playing, but now those guys are coming in as second-year vets. So I'm really excited to see those guys. So I feel like we've closed the gap and feel like our depth from 1 to 6 is pretty good. So I'm excited to see what they're going to do.
Casey didn't get a black shirt, but how do you expect him to respond, and just what you've seen out of him?
Yeah, I told everybody it's not really what you wear, it's what you have inside. I think you can be a black shirt in a lot of different ways, just in how you prepare for meetings, how you prepare for practice, how you practice and perform. And he's one of those guys that we can depend on. And I believe he'll be able to earn his here shortly.
Ty Robinson's a guy that's been singled out by Chenander, and he was Ben Stilley last week, as a guy who learned a lot from last season and has really cleaned up some mistakes. Where have you seen him grow in that? I think it was Chenander was talking about gap integrity. Where have you seen him grow in that area?
Just in his fundamental technique, got a lot better. The game slowed down a lot for him because he's understanding what's happening in front of him and how he can react to that. I think he's got better in the run game with his hands, being able to get off blocks. That was a big thing for Ty from last year to this year, just really finishing plays. He was in a position to make a lot of plays last year, but he didn't necessarily finish those plays, whether it was a block release move or missing a tackle. But now he's grown so much and improved in that area. So when he's in position now, I expect him to finish those plays. So that's a big thing for him and really for our group all across the board.
Each guy has his own sort of path developmentally, but with a kid that's as big naturally as Damien is there some trial and error involved in finding sort of exactly what works best for him? Because it seems like he's got his body in a place now where it feels really good.
Yeah, I think for him it's just getting himself in shape. And that's really helped him play in our nickel defense when we're going to our 4-down defense. He's a guy that I thought, initially can only play in 3-down spacing. He can only play when gap scheme teams, but now with all the zone schemes, he's got himself athletic enough where he can play that too now, which is good for his game. He's improved in that area. So that's why he's earned the right to play some of our 4-down defense, and I feel comfortable with him out there.
How good do you think Ty can be this year?
I think Ty can be really good. I think before it's over, it's really up to him how he wants to continue to improve and get better. But he's got all the tools. Ty can be a really good player. I think Casey Rogers can be a really good player. Nash Hupmaker has made huge strides in the last couple weeks in camp. And he's a guy that I feel really comfortable if I throw him in the game, he's going to be able to make some plays for us. I've thrown him in against our one offense, and he's been able to make plays time and time again. So I feel really, really comfortable of letting him go play. And he's one of those guys that are going to be traveling with us, and he's a guy that I'm going to depend on too. If I throw him in the game, he'll be ready to go for us. So I'm really excited about the young guys and how they're developing. They can add to our roster.
Luke was talking about the difference between, you guys can try to simulate the live game simulation as much as you can, but there really is no substitution for the real thing. What is that dichotomy in the trenches? What's the difference between going up against your guys in practice and what's going to happen on Saturday?
Well, that's the big question, right? It's you try to put them in game-like situations in practice as much as possible, where they're playing fast. I always try to get my guys tired the first half of practice. I try to get those guys as tired as they can so that when we go into scout team periods and team periods at the back half, they got to trust their fundamental technique. The game is going to be played uncomfortable and tired, and you got to be able to focus and be detailed. So I try to put them in as much game-like situation as possible And, hopefully at the end of the day, they fall into their training at the end of the day. And that's all you can really do. Where they go out there, they don't panic in what's happening in front of them. We try to practice and teach them situations that's going to happen in the game in practice. So for them, they should just play like it's in practice. Nothing should really change. None of the runs that they're going to do is things that we haven't seen before. Coach Frost and our offense, they give us so many different things to prepare for. These guys have already taken thousands of reps of that. It's just a matter of, can I win my one-on-one? Can I beat the guy in front of me with great fundamental technique? So that's what they got to fall back to at the end of the day.
That helps too, especially in your first game scenario, new staff. I mean, there'll be a wrinkle probably every week, but especially in a situation like this, like, you sort of take that, expect the unexpected.
Right. Yeah, especially like you said, they have a new offensive coordinator, a new offensive line coach coming from Wyoming, and they're going to mesh all their ideas together. So we have an idea of what they're going to do, but we won't know until early on in the first quarter if they're going to stick with what we think they're going to do based off of our study and our game plan. But at the end of the day, it's got to be rules ball. And up front, that's how I teach my guys. And everything is based off of rules. If they do this, you do that. And all their drills are based off of that. So this game is about recognition, reaction. As long as they're doing a great job and keen on what's in front of them and reacting to what happens, they're going to be okay. If they go out of that, I tell them you don't have Geico insurance anymore. You're on your own. You better go make the play. So if you do what I say, then you have insurance. If you don't, you have no insurance. So that's a little joke that we play with our guys in there anyway. So.